Hey guys, it's Miss Doherty. I am hoping to be able to explain some of these most missed questions to you. So we have done all of these. If you open up the attached Google Slides, it'll make a copy. All of the questions I'm going to review have a yellow background. Everything else is, I think, also in the learning targets. So triangle ABE, ABE is definitely right. You can see the right angle. This side is 7. We don't know what these other two sides are, but because this is a right triangle, the hypotenuse always has to be the longest side. So we know this is going to be something different. And then visually, this is obviously something different. So this is scalene. Then if we come to BEC, that one's just a little bit harder. We know that this side is 7. And we know because these sides are all equal that this is 5. And 5 plus 2, that total is also 7. Remember, the part plus the part equals the total. So if these two sides are the same, then these two angles are the same. And I've got an isosceles triangle. Okay. They're all acute, so it's acute isosceles. Then if we come down to DEF, D to E to F, DEF, well, we already talked about that's equilateral. So it's equiangular, which means all of those corners are 60 degrees, right? It's not expressly asking me that, but I could put that in. I know my drawing's starting to get a little cluttered. They always do. And then CDF, if I go from C down to D and then up to F, that triangle, I know that these two angles here, and I'm going to clear that for a minute. If I'm looking at this triangle, and I know that this was 60, then I know that this part is 120 because they make a straight line. So that angle is 120. This is obtuse. CDF, it's obtuse. It looks obtuse, but we can also prove it because this green angle and this blue angle make a linear pair. I was trying to make that blue. Okay. And then all of the sides are different because this side was 5, this side is 2, and this side is opposite that 120 degree angle. If it's obtuse, it has to be the largest side, right? So this is also scalene. Hopefully that helps. All of my tools have changed on Screencastify, so I'm trying to figure out how to make that work. So first block, this is a question that I completely messed you up on. So I am not surprised at all that this is a low question, and a lot of people have messaged me with questions about it. The problem here is you've got to make sure you read the question, and I was not reading the question right when we were talking about it. So set up and solve the equation to find the value of x. So I definitely want to find the value of x. I know that this is exterior of the triangle, and this angle is interior, and this angle is interior. So the interior plus the interior equals the exterior, right? If you're not so sure about that, you can also use that linear pair to find this angle here. So I'm going to do it both ways. If I do 180 minus that 148 degree angle, that gives me 32. I'm going to grab my calculator and just make sure that's right because it is early on a Saturday morning and not always perfect in the morning. So I've got 32 degrees. If you choose to do it this way, then you can do triangle sum. 32 degrees plus 2x minus 15. That's the second angle in the triangle. Plus x minus 5 equals 180. This is triangle sum. All the angles in a triangle have to equal 180. If you use exterior angle theorem, then the outside, that 148, has to equal the sum of the other two. So 2x minus 15 plus x minus 5. This equation and this equation are going to come out to be the exact same thing, because when I subtract 32 from both sides, I'm going to get 148. Okay, so then you just combine like terms. 2x and 1x is 3x, and minus 15 and minus 5 is minus 20. I'm going to add 20 to both sides and get 3x equals 168, and then divide by 3, and 168 divided by 3 is going to give me 56. So x equals 56. So I got x equals 56. That's the first part of the question. Oops, it's not degrees though. So x is just going to equal 56, right? The question is, find the value of ABC. Find the value of ABC. And in the learning targets, in the test review, that's the question they want you to answer. If you put in 56, you're going to have done all of this work that is correct. It's just not complete. So angle ABC, if I start at A and go to B and then go to C, I always want to get my middle angle. So I'm looking for angle B. This is my question. So I have to put in that 56 and do 2 times 56 minus 15. This is going to be the answer you put in your learning target. 2 times x minus 15, because that's the actual question. Okay, hopefully that helps. Let's go to our next question. The first question was learning target 1. The second one was learning target 2. This is going to be learning target 3. If you don't have a picture, draw a picture, right? Sketch triangle JKL so that JK and JL are equal. If JK and JL are congruent, then J is that angle that's different. K and L are going to be congruent. So the first way we can do it, if we draw the triangle, K and L have to be congruent. So x minus 1 equals 9x minus 31, and solve. If that's a struggle question for you, you know these are all angles, and you know with triangle sum, all the angles have to equal 180 degrees. So if you're given 3 angles and you don't want to draw the triangle and figure out which angles are congruent, then you can just add them all up. 23x minus 4 and x minus 1 and 9x minus 31. Add all of those up and set them equal to 180. So you can either use triangle sum and solve this purple equation, or you can use the isosceles base angles are congruent. Base angles are congruent, and you can solve this equation. It's going to give you the exact same answer. Once you find x, then you've got to substitute back in. So once you find x, you've got to substitute it back in here to find j. You've got to substitute x back in here to find k, and you've got to substitute it back in here to find l. So hopefully that helps. There's 2 different options, triangle sum and base angles. All right, that was learning target 3. If we continue moving forward, learning target 4 had 2 questions that were kind of struggle. So this is ordering sides and angles. It seems really easy when you start it. We had this question. So again, this is learning target 4. We had this question in the reviews, but the test question asks it just a little bit differently. It gives you a bunch of choices. G is greatest, G is least, H is greatest, H is least, J is greatest, J is least. Basically, what you need to do is draw the triangle, G, H, J, and then label it. The side, GH, there's 2 letters here. So the distance between G and H is 21 inches. Inches is a unit of length, so it has to be a side. HJ is 24 inches. And then GJ is 9 inches, the distance between G and J, right? If this number is the smallest side, then H is the smallest angle. If 21 is the medium side, then J is the medium angle. And if 24 is the longest side, then G is the largest angle. Small is across from small, medium is across from medium, and large is across from large. You want to go to the opposite side, and you always go through the middle. Okay? You always go through the middle. And you just have to draw it out, test it out. 40 is probably the hardest one. I warned you guys about it before when we talked about it, but maybe our brains had turned off a little bit. I know we talked about a lot that day. You need to pay special attention to the words here. Sides, side, side, and angle, angle. And you've got to draw your picture accordingly. If you're resisting drawing the pictures, you're not going to have success on these questions. In geometry, I need you to draw the pictures. You need you to draw the pictures. So I know I formed a triangle. Trumpet players are on one side. So the trumpets are shoulder to shoulder on one side. The clarinets are shoulder to shoulder on one side, and the flutes are shoulder to shoulder on one side. Maybe there's 5 trumpet players, and maybe there's 4 clarinet players, and maybe there's, 7 flute players, 6 flute players, right? We don't know how many there are. We don't know how big the sides are. We just know that that's how they're configured on the field. So then we sketch the triangle with the angles between the trumpets and the flutes. So where those sides meet is 45 degrees. And where the flutes and the clarinets meet, that's 68 degrees. So flutes and clarinets, that's 68 degrees. Those are the corners, my friends. Angle measures are always corners. The temptation here is to not put the band members on the sides and not put the degrees in the corners. I don't know why that's always a struggle, but it always is. So then we've got to do triangle sum to find this missing angle. So 180 minus 45 minus 68 equals the corner of trumpets and clarinets. Okay, so the band member had to choreograph this, just like music videos. 180 minus 45 minus 68 is going to give me 67. Once you have your diagram, your illustration, your picture, whatever you want to call it, then it's just a matter of going from side to side. The smallest angle is always opposite the smallest side. The medium angle is always opposite the medium side, and the large angle is always opposite the large side. And then you've just got to answer your question. That was learning target 4. Learning target 5 was small plus medium is bigger than big. Small plus medium is bigger than big. Small plus medium is bigger than large. You got to memorize that. There's no way around it. They're not always going to be in the order. So small plus medium has to be bigger than large. 6 plus 8 has to be bigger than 14. These equal, so this is not true. Small plus medium has to be bigger than big. So 9 plus 11 has to be bigger than 21. This is 20, so this is not true. Small plus medium has to be bigger than big. Small plus medium has to be bigger than big. 8.5 plus 10.6 has to be bigger than 17. Always bigger. Small plus medium is bigger than big. This one happens to be true. 8 plus 10 is 18, so I don't even care about the other 1.1. And then small plus medium has to be bigger than big. Make sure you see those decimals. A lot of people do 47 plus 47 or 14 plus 47. So those decimals are important. 4.7 plus 4.7 is bigger than 14. And of course, that is also false. Small plus medium is bigger than big. Small plus medium is bigger than big. That was learning target 5, I think. Learning target 6 had 2 questions that were low. Remember, you're thinking about these as a hinge, right? So some people call this the hinge theorem. Hinge, I think, has an E on it. So if I have a 14 and I close that angle to be super acute, my question is, what's the smallest side this could possibly be? Well, 8 minus 14, or 14 minus 8 is really the way I should do it, is 6. So the smallest thing it could be is 6, right? It's an open circle because this has no equal sign here. It's an open circle. It can't equal 6. My triangle would be flat. Then I could do 14, and I open the hinge as big as it can go, and that's 8. So now my question is, how big can this be? Here you add 8 plus 14 is 22. Again, 22, right? It can't equal 22. My triangle would be flat. It wouldn't have any elevation because this is the part plus the part equals the total. That's segment addition, ladies and gentlemen. 18 plus 14 is 22. My triangle would be flat. So if you're looking for correct answers, it could be 8, it could be 7, it could be 9, it could be 10, it could be 11 or 12 or 13 or 14, 15, 16, or any of those decimals in between. What it cannot be is 6, and it cannot be 22. So if I'm writing an inequality, my inequality is something bigger than 6 and less than 22. But if it's asking you to click on all the possible side lengths, you want to click on everything in the middle, but not the endpoints. These inequality symbols here do not have equal signs under them. This is a whole. It cannot equal 6 and it cannot equal 22. Okay. The last question that was kind of troublesome gave you a whole bunch of sides. This is just a stamina question, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to do small plus medium is bigger than large 6 times. Small plus medium is bigger than large. 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 Typo, that should be an and. Small plus medium is bigger than large. Okay, you got to get all of them right in order to get any of it right. It's tough. I hope that helps, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're tired of hearing me talk. If anybody has any better suggestions, please feel free to let me know. There is one more question, and this was the very last thing we did on Thursday, and it kind of pulls everything together. And honestly, this is the type of question you're most likely to see on the SOL. So step number 1, when you attack this kind of problem, you should always notice that there's 2 angles that are given to you. So you need to find that third angle. It's a scalene triangle. They're all going to be different. So we're going to think about it's a scalene triangle. Then we're going to do triangle sum. So all of them should equal 180. So 180 minus 68 minus 47. Again, I'm grabbing my calculator. You should be doing the same thing. Don't just sit back and consume this information. Actively sit up, grab your calculator, and try to find it yourself. So I've got 65 degrees is angle C. So then I can think, okay, well, I can order my sides and angles. So if A is my smallest, then 7 has got to be my smallest. And if C is the medium, then AB has to be the medium side. And then I've got B is 68. I'm just trying to get that to be a different color. This is the large angle, so this has to be the large side. So it's asking me about A and B. AB is that blue side, so I really want to know about this one. if it's the medium side, because it's opposite the medium angle, then doesn't it have to be 7 is smaller than AB, and AB has to be smaller than the large one? Small, medium, large. Small, medium, large. That is the very last one, everybody. I'm going to stop the video and post it, and hopefully this is helpful.